joining me now is a gentleman who's directing the musical that starts, I think it opens tonight. He can correct me if I'm wrong. But it's called Always Patsy Cline, which has been around for a while. And it's a very popular musical about the singer Patsy Cline, who died in a plane crash back, it's been quite some time, 1963. And she was only 31, but what a career she made in those years that she was alive. So joining us now is Terry Alford, who's the director of Patsy Cline, or Always Patsy Cline. And Terry, good morning. How are you?
I'm great, Bob. How are you?
Doing well. We've had a busy morning, and I'm excited about this. Is tonight the opening night?
Well, tonight is what we call the first preview.
Okay,
preview.
Okay.
First time we get in front of an audience. We have two of those, tonight and tomorrow night. And then on Friday night is the official opening night.
All right. And how long have y'all been rehearsals for this?
We've been rehearsing for about 4 weeks, and it's just a two-person cast. And this Laura Beth Wells plays Patsy Cline, and Deanna Serber plays her friend Louise. It's a wonderful story about a friendship, really. It's the highlights and chronicles certainly in Patsy Cline's music, but it's woven through with a wonderful story about a good friend that she makes sort of on the road.
You know, Patsy Cline was very influential in a lot of performers like Loretta Lynn and others. And so this musical takes her from about or how long is the time span of the musical? Not how long is it go, but in their lifespan of the character.
It's about roughly 1956, 57 up till 63.
Okay.
Up until her death. Right. So it's really kind of the early mid part of her career and on up until the time that she died.
Had you directed this musical before, or is this the first time on this one?
This is the first time on this one. We've done it at Clarence Brown a couple of times over the years, and I've seen it before. And it's kind of an interesting story. I was originally slated to do the music direction for the play, but because of circumstances, ended up directing the show. And I've had a really wonderful time doing that. And I've always known about Patsy Cline's music, but sort of seeing it every night for weeks on end, it's been kind of really a delight to hear these classic, wonderful tunes over and over again. I think certainly our older audiences and those who are familiar with Patsy Cline will absolutely love this show.
So she died in 63, if my math is correct. That's 60 years ago. I think that's right.
Right.
Yeah. So was there ever a concern that something like this, because it's from a person that died 60 years ago, that there wouldn't be, that there's been too many generations that have moved on, that the audience wouldn't understand who Patsy Cline was? Or is she still living on, if you will?
I think I definitely think she's living on. It was funny, last night we had a small invited dress rehearsal, and right behind me was a student, probably 19 years old. And he was having a really good time watching the show. And at the end, I said, "Do you even know who Patsy Cline is?" He said, "Sure, I do. And I know all these songs." And I was like, well, how in the world is that possible? But maybe his parents played the songs and that kind of thing. But, her songs have just lived on. She made so many wonderful recordings. And like you say, she influenced a lot of other singers who came along this way. And she was the first woman also to be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. She won all kinds of awards. And, she's sort of a trailblazer for women in the industry as well. So, she's responsible for a lot of innovations and changes in the whole sort of country music realm. Also, she was a pop singer crossover, too.
Well, when I watched the film about Loretta Lynn's life, I forgot what the name, A Coal Miner's Daughter, Patsy Cline's in that character is in that film. And, boy, if the film is true to real life, Patsy Cline was no pushover. She was a opinionated woman, strong. She wasn't intimidated by men or women, although very talented and so forth. Not bossy, but she wasn't afraid to have an opinion. And I think maybe that, if that is true, that's what has kept her living on, if you will, not just the songs, but the fact that she was a strong woman, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Sure. Well, that's absolutely true. It's interesting because Laura Beth Wells, who's playing Patsy Cline in our production, has done a lot of really deep research on Patsy Cline's life and just discovered a whole bunch of things. Like you say, she was very strong. She was opinionated, and she sort of made her career, into what it came to be. Because people, of course, at that time would try to manipulate and take advantage of people, especially women in the industry. So she wasn't going to have any of that, So she absolutely took charge of her own career, which was new for that time, if you will. She was really a strong person. So, Patsy Cline had a lot of. She was no angel either. She lived a bit of a hard life, but she definitely lived a tumultuous life. Right. She's married a couple of times, a couple of kids, but she was certainly well loved by everyone.
We're talking with Terry Alford, the director of the musical that's just starting in previews tonight at the Clarence Brown Theater, and it'll be going on, I know, through May. We'll get the dates here in just a moment, but we'll come back. We're going to take a quick break, Terry, and we'll come right back, and I want to talk about this young lady, Laura Beth Wells, who is playing Patsy Cline, and so stay with us, folks. 9:16, this is Newstalk 98.7. We'll be right back.
I go out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight.
It's called Always Patsy Cline at the Clarence Brown Theater. Previews tonight going through May 15th. Bob Thomas in for Phil on Wednesday at 9:21 from Newstalk 98.7. The director, Terry Alford, of the musical is online with us here. And Terry, this young lady, Laura Beth Wells, that plays Patsy Cline, she's a UT grad, but she's been on Broadway and a lot of regional. And then when you said it's only a two-person musical, Deanna Serber, who has also been Clarence Brown before. Tell us a little bit about these two actresses and singers.
Well, like you say, they're both alums of the theater department here in Knoxville, UT. And Laura Beth Wells left here and went on to New York and studied and worked up there. And she was on Broadway in the sort of cursed musical called Spider-Man: Turn Off the Dark, which was in previews for a long time and ran for just a short period of time and didn't do too well, but she had a really good time doing it, according to her. And Deanna Serber also is a local actor, and she has been around for a good long while. She teaches voice and musical theater here in Knoxville, and she's done a lot of performing around town with the Oak Ridge Playhouse and Tennessee Valley Players and other places like that. And she's a wonderful addition to our cast here.
And what I like about this, in case you're sitting out there and saying, well, wait a minute, is this just a thing about these two ladies' interaction? But there's 27 classic songs that are performed during this musical. Crazy, Walking After Midnight, like you just heard. She's Got You, Sweet Dreams, Back in Baby's Arms. So if you're a Patsy Cline fan, or if you are now curious, this is the perfect time to not only find out a little bit more about what this woman was, but also hear some of these incredible songs that made her such a leader in the music business. And as you said, Terry, one of the first inductees in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Absolutely, and I think that you're also going to see a really beautiful production. The set design was by one of our graduate students, alumni, who's been working in New York, who's recently got a job, worked with HBO, and also our lighting designer is also a former graduate student, and our costume designer is Lauren Rourke, who's our costume person here, designer here at the university, and she has just captured some of the iconic-looking outfits and dresses of Patsy Cline. It's absolutely beautiful, and the set's gorgeous, and the lights and sound are, top-notch, highly professional. So you're going to see a really great show, just an absolute entertaining show, in addition to a very warm and sweet story.
And if you've never been to the Clarence Brown, folks, it's a wonderful theater as well. It takes a lot of people to make a production. When you say it's only two people on stage, it really takes a lot of people to make things happen, doesn't it?
Oh, it sure does. We've got probably 10 or 15 people backstage and up running follow spots and helping with the costume changes and running the front of the house, even more than that. So it's a big operation. We're thrilled to be able to offer this to the community.
Yeah, I know they love it, too. I see where you've got a band. I mean, because even a pedal steel guitar player, so you're really true to the sounds. Listen, Terry, I wish you great fortune with this going on through May 15th. Tell people how they can get tickets, any other information they need to know, maybe a website, things like that. Will you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the phone number for the box office is 865-974-5161. And the website is simply clarencebrowntheater.com. And you can find ways to purchase tickets through both of those places.
All right, Terry. Really enjoy you spending some time with us. And I'm going to try to see the musical here in the next week or so before it goes off. And like I say, wish you great luck. Sounds like a wonderful show that people can go and see between now and May 15th.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Bob. It's been a pleasure.
All right, thanks.